Liverpool just finished, as we were recording, spanking Chelsea 4-1. And what a performance that was. I do have a highlight, but I think I'll leave the floor for Isaac to just give us his thoughts right at the get-go. How did you feel that game went? Obviously went well, but
I mean, it should be more than 4. Darwin Nunez, of course, as he does, breaks records. He broke the record for the most times you hit a post in a Premier League game in like the 21 years they've been collecting stats, which included a penalty. So 4 was an understatement. Yeah, I think Chelsea looked awful, and Liverpool just breezed through this game. I think there was an early penalty shout for Chelsea in the first half, and I don't think it was a penalty. And besides that, they did nothing, really. And Liverpool do whatever they want. I mean, we had a 20-year-old Connor Bradley, the Trent reincarnation, have a goal and 2 assists, and he looked phenomenal. And this team just keeps going. So it was fantastic to watch. I was relaxed. I was calm. It was great.
Yeah, it was a bit of a demolition derby. Pretty embarrassing result for Chelsea. I thought Diego Jota's goal summed the game up really well. He absolutely stormed through Chelsea's back line. He took hold of the ball and slotted in a goal that I think he made look pretty easily. I mean, he had Badiashile draped all over him, but he didn't care. I think that goal really highlighted the determination of this team. They were all on the same page. It was a fiery game from Liverpool. They absolutely made Chelsea choke. They really couldn't breathe. There weren't too many attacks that Chelsea could string together. I didn't really like the team personally that Poch fielded, but either way, I mean, that was no way for Chelsea to come out into that game. They just looked dead. I mean, I know it's Anfield away, and I never would have expected Chelsea to win this game, but I think there's a way you lose these big games, and Chelsea certainly didn't keep any of their pride today.
Yeah, I
agree. That goal. Go ahead.
My 2 biggest takeaways from this game is, first of all, I think that I've been saying it the last couple of weeks now, but if Liverpool's relentlessness hasn't been back yet, it's most certainly back now.
Yeah,
they're definitely firing on all cylinders. And I want to say, if there's ever a shout that they're going to be fine without Mo Salah, it is this game. Because the loss, I mean, they really have not missed a beat at all without him. I mean, you would almost not even know that he's a Liverpool player if you weren't that well aware of the Premier League. They play so well without him. It's really incredible in my opinion. And also, I just want to big up Connor Bradley. I mean, this kid's been balling lately on the right side. I've been thoroughly impressed with him. I think he like you said, he is like a Trent reincarnation. He almost looks like you could slot him in midfield and he'd do just as well there, stringing the passes along. He plays a lovely cross into the box. His technique is brilliant. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with him when Trent's, now that he's back healthy, if he's going to lose his spot or if Trent moves into the midfield. So it's gonna be really cool to see what happens with this Liverpool team. I'm certainly excited to see where they go going forward.
I wanted to touch on Connor Bradley too. Now, if I remember correctly, Liverpool had kind of this bad habit of conceding the first goal.
Ultimately, 3-1 victories early in the season.
Yeah, and ultimately their quality kind of propelled them to wins. What strikes me the most watching this Liverpool team with Bradley is the back line seems a lot more stable. Maybe that's easy to say because the one con with Trent's play obviously was his defensive mishaps. It was almost becoming a bit of like a Maguire meme, and I think people were overanalyzing Trent's defending, and it was kind of leading to errors being highlighted than maybe more than they should be highlighted. But the one thing I did like about Connor Bradley is I think he's like a pretty stout defender. I mean, Sterling didn't really have much luck going down his side of the field. Sterling, somebody who was a multiple-time Premier League champion. I mean, he was one of the better players in the league for a number of years. I know Gianluca brought up Connor Bradley's like technical ability with the ball at his feet, but what actually stuck out to me was his ability to defend and how much he shored up Liverpool's back line. I mean, they haven't conceded too much with him in the side. We'll see if it continues. But I mean, what a story! I mean, to get his first goal in the Premier League at Anfield, it was just really a beautiful moment, and it's another player that Klopp is going to bring through in this team. And I thought it was really beautiful to see him start in Klopp's first Premier League game after the announcement of him leaving. I just thought it was a perfect embodiment of Klopp's time with Liverpool. It was nice to see.
Yeah, I think it's interesting you bring up the defensive thing of us not conceding first, because I do think Trent. We all know that Trent has his defensive issues, but I also think we don't give enough credit to Joe Gomez, who's coming for Robertson.
Yeah, he's been good too
on the left side and the right side. People forget that Liverpool won the Premier League with Van Dijk and Joe Gomez, right? And he's come in and played right back and left back for us, and he's so incredibly underrated in this Liverpool team, because he comes on and he's not great going forward. He's never scored for Liverpool, but he's lockdown defense, and I think that also attributes to it of you have this very, very good defender who is playing both right and left side and shutting down wingers. But I do think you're right. Connor Bradley had this game, shut down Sterling. Modric came on. Modric's not the best, but he's quick. And Connor Bradley didn't make him look quick. And that's a sign of a good defender, is you don't give him the chance to run.
Yeah. So, it's too bad Patrick's... Yeah, it's too bad Patrick's not here, too, because he's harped on Konate's form pretty much every episode, every time we bring up Liverpool. I mean, he's becoming he's a kind of a Rolls-Royce defender himself, too, just like Van Dijk was, and still is, really, for a number of years. But, the Liverpool back line is starting to look pretty formidable, too. I think earlier in the season, teams might have thought, well, they're conceding first, if we can nick the first goal, maybe we can get a point, but that seems to have dried up. They look absolutely incredible, and they're still in first place for a reason.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on Liverpool's youth development, because I don't think they get enough credit for what they've done over the last probably 5-6 years. Because I mean, it starts with Joe Gomez and Trent, but now you've got getting regular contributions from players like Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott. Granted, they may not have started with them, but they developed them young. And now you've got players like Connor Bradley, and you've got a bunch of guys who've been playing recently in cup games. They got
even Bobby Clark too. This kid.
Yep. So they've gotten a ton of these young kids coming in who are able to compete and play in the same level, and it looks plug and play. So that's definitely credit. I'd probably give the credit to Klopp, to be honest, because I would probably say it's his initiative to get these guys, or the club rather, to develop these guys and then create a system where they can slot right in and contribute right away. So I hope, for your sake, Isaac, that doesn't go away with Klopp, because as Benfica does that all the time with developing their own talent, that's very useful and very valuable. And it's definitely cool to say.
I actually want to say I'm glad you brought up the youth development. You just made me remember. I don't know if you saw, but I stuck my headphone in for a minute or two there, because Klopp was giving his post game little interview, and it's funny that you said I'd probably give the credit to Klopp for the youth development, and you'd actually be wrong. And one of the things that just stuck out in the interview he just gave was Klopp actually said that my youth team coaches are in my ear all the time, advocating for these kids. He said that he's known about Connor Bradley for about 3 seasons now, and Klopp, the exact quote is, "I actually have the easiest job of all, and that's just to put them on the pitch with the first team." And he basically was giving tremendous credit.
We're not losing that.
Yeah, he was basically giving tremendous credit to the youth team coaches for developing them so much. But I agree. I'm sure Klopp is in his ear hey, guys, look, you need to bleed these players. And something else he actually said was he was actually kind of talking a little bit of shit, and I kind of liked it. Klopp was saying, in the summer, he was like, everybody wanted us to bring in a right back, right? He was like, everybody was saying we need a backup to Trent. He's like, well, there's reasons why Liverpool operates the way they do. And that was when he had said, I've known about this kid for 3 years. He was like, the perfect time to breed him into this side. And I mean, he hit the nail on the head, timing wise, because I mean, he's fit in perfectly, probably better than Klopp and any of the youth teams would have even expected him to. So he's been great.
I mean, more goals and assists in 2 appearances than Anthony. So that
Yeah.
says something.
From right back, right?
From right back.
Actually, quick question, piggybacking on that. Isaac, if you're Klopp next game, big game against Arsenal next week, do you sit Bradley after this kind of form, or Trent 1 game back? Do you put him starting that game?
I don't know how injured Trent is. You know what I mean? He just came back. There is a conversation now, but I'm still taking Trent. I think Bradley is very good, but I'm still taking Trent just because he's world class on the ball.
Right.
But I'm not mad if they play Bradley. I totally get it. I don't have a strong opinion, but I do think that I'd still choose Trent a little bit.
Nice.
Yeah. One crazy thing I noticed with all these Liverpool dudes, they all look the same. All the youth players, like they all look
the same.
They all look like Football Manager, like regens of like the young players of like the fake faces. That's what they all look like. It's crazy. They all look the same. Same haircut and everything.
With Liverpool Chelsea being our like match of the episode, I think it's only right that we now kind of analyze Chelsea a little bit more. I have a lot of questions to ask of Pochettino. I know what I led off with saying was I didn't particularly like the formation, so I want to go into that more. I really don't like this idea of Cole Palmer being a false 9. He's been Chelsea's most influential player this season by a mile. And I just don't like that now these past couple games he's kind of isolated Palmer from build-up play altogether. I mean, he's stuck him out on an island against the most informed Premier League team. I mean, we just finished talking about how even more stable the Liverpool backline is. Do you guys think Poch is kind of had an underwhelming start? I always like to look at the discipline side of things too. Now you had both fullbacks, or actually it was both, the whole midfield pair was booked. I mean, like 30 minutes into the game. Obviously, they're away at Anfield, and the game got away from them very quickly, and there was no recovering. But do you think that's kind of a trickle-down effect from the manager? Because for me, that's one of the telltale signs of a team like really starting to struggle, is the discipline and the way in which they lose games. Like, you know, I know Chelsea is not in the top 6 right now, but they spent a lot of money. They're expected to compete in this big games no matter how bad their form gets. And I just was kind of almost offended at the way Chelsea approached this game and carried themselves. It was gross to watch.
Yeah, I mean, Chelsea's tough because, they've been on a really good run. They haven't lost in the Prem since Christmas Eve until today.
Yeah, but
so I mean, if you think about it, this is probably the worst job.
They haven't beaten anybody though. They beat Palace.
They were losing to nobody too.
They beat Fulham.
They were losing to all these teams last year.
To Middlesbrough.
Their games, and they lost one after. It's games that they should be winning though. Like I just don't.
I mean, right. They definitely should have way underperforming, but it seemed like they finally kind of clicked a bit and they got something going. But yeah, I agree. I don't know how you pick up a City player and don't involve them in build-up. I wouldn't expect them to score a goal. I just put them in build-up because that's literally what you need to expect them for. That's what you expect out of them, rather. But yeah, it's tough. They can't get a back line set. I don't know why even bother playing Chilwell because I don't think him or Reece James have finished the game in probably a year and a half.
Chilwell should actually be ashamed. He fucking sucked, and
Chilwell was their worst
at
player.
both times he dove once in the box and once in the sideline. Like he was somebody. He's captain Chelsea today, and he's captained them before. Like you don't for him to be diving like that. It was too. I don't know. It was desperate. Maybe I'm being a little harsh because I do agree like that, and that's what I think kind of makes me a little passionate in this rant is that Chelsea was starting to gather steam. So I understand you're going away to league leading Liverpool, and Anfield is not an easy place to go, but they just squandered any momentum that they had gathered from these last couple games, and now I feel like it's back to square one again. I mean, I guarantee Pochettino will have a different 11 next game. He cannot play this 11. I mean, I don't see how they move forward. Madueke won't start.
Maybe that's a mindset thing. We had this momentum.
Yeah,
right? And
who do you think?
Pochettino being we have this momentum. but him in his mind being like, oh, we haven't beaten a team like good, and so like maybe it's him just being like, oh yeah, we were never gonna beat Liverpool anyways. Like it
I don't know.
just didn't seem like
Maybe,
they showed up to play. Like if they were not in the game ever.
And that's a good point you raised too, because maybe like they'll just take this one on the chin, and it's Liverpool away, and who knows? I mean, they might come out next week. I think they have look at the schedule. They have Wolves at home. Like who knows? Like they might be Wolves at home, and I'll have egg on my face. But I just think like there's a way you can still kind of continue momentum. There was 0 positives to take for Chelsea from this game. That's just
Nkunku had a goal, which was nice.
Yeah, I give credit where it's due. I think besides Mudryk, the players that came off the bench for more than 5 minutes actually performed probably the best in the whole team. Which I guess like if you said if he is gonna field a whole new 11, these Malagusto better be in it. Chukwuemeka, I don't know how to say his name, but he bags the assist and clearly has he had a better performance too. I think closing out the game, so maybe he should just start. I think you just need to reward these players, and Nkunku could play in front of Cole Palmer, so Cole Palmer can actually build up. And Nkunku is a player that has in the past been used to getting isolated up top and then bagging goals while he's up there. With a little bit of service. So. Yeah, I think he just needs to readjust and try to regain that steam that, like you were saying, they were building, because this is absolutely embarrassing.
Yeah, real quick too, I just wanted to say, I mean, we've been talking about Chelsea struggling for goals lately. I mean, how do you not play a striker? That just is mind-boggling to me. I really don't understand.
And they're trying to sell Broja for $50 million.
And they're gonna send Broja out on loan. Like that, you're causing.
I don't know why he didn't play. I thought he was hurt, and then I just looked at the bench and he was chilling.
Dude, he doesn't know what he's doing. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I mean, it's a crap situation to get thrown into. Like I wouldn't want that job at all.
Yeah.
But you also got to work with what you got, and then you got to make moves to kind of get there. But
it's also like he has a lot. Like they spent so much money. It's not like.
But so where is it? Where'd the money go?
Right, it's
money.
Like
those players are dog shit.
You know what?
You're absolutely right.
Because I don't know what happened. Because if like we've been, Isaac, I don't know if you've picked up on it, but every week in week out we talk about how good this Liverpool midfield has been. But if you look at like Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo last season, right, when they're at Benfica and at Brighton, that's two of the most informed midfielders in across Europe. Do you know what I mean? Like Enzo had a great World Cup, great half season with Benfica, and now you put them side by side in a pretty decent role with the likes of like a Cole Palmer potentially in front of them, and they just get embarrassed and ran over. It's like, what the fuck is like, yeah, Pochettino's not making great choices, but some of these players are just like inconsistent and just not at all tapping into the boatloads of potential that they have, I think.
You should have heard the roar when Caicedo got subbed off. Oh
yeah, dude. Wasn't that crazy?
That was beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely didn't forget that it was between Liverpool and Chelsea. He must be, that's a good, I can only imagine what's going through his head right now. He must feel like an idiot.
Yeah, money talks.
But I do think it does say something to Liverpool and to Chelsea. It's like, they both bought new midfields and only one of them's made it work. I do think Fernandez is a quality player. Caicedo's a quality player. It's just something it's just, I don't know. I think if you feel such a different team every week, it's hard to build some consistency with it now.
And you raise a great point, Isaac, because like there's no doubt in my mind that Caicedo would be twice the player in Liverpool's team right now.
Right. I was thinking that. Like, he would be
and with Chelsea now, it's a great point.
What's up, guys? If you love content like that, if you just love football, if you just love soccer, and you want to see more of our conversations, come check out the Son of a Pitch podcast channel on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all across different platforms. We will have weekly roundups of the weekend. We have all kinds of videos, discussions, breakdown, tactical analysis, all the good stuff. Come check us out and keep on being Son of a Pitch.